Okay. Hi, everyone. This is Heather.
And Jessie.
And we have 3 screens on here because I'm recording from my phone and starting the broadcast from my computer. So that's what's going on there. And I'm going first. So for problem number 1, turn my camera around. Can you see that or not?
It's a little bright, but it's there.
Okay. Oh my gosh, what just happened here? Can you still see?
Mm-mm.
It said camera turned off by low power mode. Don't do that to me. Okay, do you want to explain the first one while I get that fixed?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see. For the first one, it just wants to know the group of enzymes that covalently link amino acids to the tRNA molecules. And that's the amino acid tRNA synthetase. Yep. And for part B, it just wants to know 4 proteins that consume GTP during translation, and that's going to be your IF3, your IF2, your EFTU, and your EFG proteins. And for part C, we said the 23S are RNAs that function as a ribozyme during translation. And for part the stop codon, or 2 proteins that recognize the stop codons, are going to be your release factor 1 and your release factor 2. And for part E, 1 molecule that hydrogen bonds with the Shine Delgarno sequence in the mRNA is going to be your 16S rRNA.
Okay. Well, my camera's being stupid, but maybe it'll fix itself in a minute. But for number 2, it says the first amino acid in prokaryotic proteins is, and for that, we'll put FMET, which is the N-terminal amino acid. For part B, an E. coli protein called EFTU delivers charged tRNAs to the A site of the ribosome during translation elongation. Part C, the initiator tRNA binds to the P site of the ribosomes, whereas the remaining charged tRNAs binds to the A site of the ribosome. Part D, EFG, the bacterial elongation factor, is a translation factor that helps the ribosome move 1 codon in the 3' direction along the mRNA. Part E, IF3 is a translation factor that guides the mRNA to the 30S ribosome unit. Part F, the 5-AUG 3' sequence is the start codon, and the 3' to 5' sequence is an example of a stop codon. Part G, degenerate is a term that indicates that more than 1 codon can specify the same amino acid. In part H, the C terminal or the carboxyl terminal end is the terminus of the polypeptide, where the final amino acid is located.
Awesome. So for question 3, it gives you the codons and it wants you to figure out the anticodon sequences that are possible for the mRNAs. And so for part A, these are all going to be 5' to 3', and so you could have AAC, and then your last either be a U or an A as well. For part B, you can have UCA, UCG, UCU, or UCI. For part C, you can have AUG, AUI, AUA, and AUU. For part D, you can have UAA, UAG, UAI, and UAU. E, you could have CGU, CGI, or CGA for those. Oh, I can see your screen again.
Yeah, it started working again. That's my phone battery too low. Can you see that better than you could see the screen?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. So the first question asks, it's talking about E. coli, and it contains a protein X, and it tells us it is 218 kilodaltons in molecular weight. Part A, if the average amino acid is 125 daltons, how many amino acids are found in protein X? So for that one, I hope you can see that. What you do there is you do 1 amino acid over 125 daltons times 1,000 daltons and 1 kilodalton times 218 kilodaltons in protein X. And when you multiply that all out and cancel the units, what you get is 1,744 amino acids. For part B, it says, what is the length of mRNA coding region, which is the portion of the mRNA that encodes the amino acids responsible for producing protein X? So for part B, what you do is, make sure you can see that, you take the 1,744 amino acids, and you take into account that there are 3 nucleotides per amino acid for the codons. And so what you do is you multiply that by 3, and you get 5,232 nucleotides. For part C, it asks how many GTP molecules are consumed to synthesize each copy of protein X. And can you see that there? It says, so what I'm trying to explain here is that you have to take into account various different points that the GTP comes from. So there are 2 GTPs that come from initiation, and that's the IF3 factor and from the IF2 factor. And then you have the A site, which uses 1 GTP per amino acid. And since we calculated that there are 1,744 amino acids, we know that there would be that many GTPs. And then for the ribosome, it needs 1 GTP to continue on, keep moving along to each codon. And so for that one, because of how many spaces there are in between the codons, what you have is 1 less, so 1,743. And then for the termination, you use 2 GTPs also. And so you add all that up, and it comes out to 3,491 GTP molecules. Scroll down so I see my work here. Okay, so for part D, it says how many ATP molecules are consumed to synthesize each copy of protein X. And for that one, it is 1,744 ATP molecules. And for part E, what is
Can you go down just a little?
Oh, yep.
There you go.
Is that better? Thanks.
Yep.
What is the name of the group of enzymes that consumes ATP to assist in the synthesis of protein X? And that is amino acyl tRNA synthetases. Yep. So that's for part number 4.
Awesome. And for the last question, it just wants to know which of the list of proteins and nucleic acid sequences are part of each stage in the translation process. So for part A, it wants to know about initiation. And this includes the 16S RNA, the Shine-Delgarno sequence, IF2, 5' AUG to 3' RNA FMAT. For part B, it wants to know about elongation. This also includes the 16S, the EFTU, acyl tRNA synthetase, FG, and the 23S RNA. For termination, I also included 16S rRNA and the 23S RNA. They don't really play a role, but they're there and then they pop off at the end. So I included those, but the main ones are going to be your RF1 and your 5' UGA to 3'. For part D, it just wants to know which parts make up the 70S ribosome, and that's going to be your 16S and your 23S RNAs. And finally, for part E, the parts that are mRNA itself is going to be your Shine-Delgarno sequence, your 5' UGA to 3', which is your stop codon, and your 5' AUG to 3' codon, which is your start codon. And that should be everything.
Great. Well, thanks for watching, guys.